There's a little bit of a noise, Tyler, in the furnace. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear so well, but I
It's
hear
just
something.
just a little noise. So y'all heard that little noise that's coming from this furnace. I pulled it apart yesterday. I'm at my brother-in-law's house. Pulled it apart yesterday. I thought something was caught in the blower. Turns out the blower wheel is falling apart. So here we are. I'm gonna take it apart, put a new one on. All right. Blower's in here. 2 screws, all it is. Don't lose the screws. Put them somewhere and remember which screws are which. So 2 screws out. Pops this cover off. Set this cover to the side. Now this is 2 more screws. To pull this whole box down is just 2 screws from the top. So take these 2 screws out. Remember which screws these 2 are. All right, so those 2 screws are out. I'm going to pop these wires out and pull them out without cutting any, like so. Then I can drop this down and push it over to the side. Now I opened this up yesterday. I had to cut this pipe. Whoever put this in didn't cut this pipe, so they have it all glued together. In order to access the blower, this has to come out. So I put this union in here, not a union, just a connector, so that I can take that out. And then this is a couple pieces of clamp that you have to pull off. So there's 1, 2, 3. So they're all out. Has 2 push pins right here, and then it twists out like so. So that's out of your way. Now you have all the access that you need to the blower. 5/16 nut driver, 2 screws hold it up. One. And 2. So now your blower is free. Give it a little tug to pull it out, like so. This is the blower. You see this centralized circle part that's inside the wheel, and the fins right here that are supposed to be hooked to it. It's not supposed to do that. If you look down here, it's not even connected. It's just shaking. So that was a noise. That was a noise that was happening when it was on and spinning. It's spinning at a high rate, and it's just shaking back and forth because it's falling apart. So we went and bought a new one. Nobody would guess how much the new one was, but we went and bought a new one, and we're going to take this off, put the new one. What I'm going to do, set screw holds the blower to the motor. I'm going to loosen this set screw. So nice and loose. All right, so I'm not going to disconnect any wires. I'm just going to leave the wires because we're using the same motor. I have enough play where I don't have to. So I undid the set screw. I got 3 bolts that hold the blower motor on. So we're just going to back these bolts out. 1. 2. So all three are out. The set screw is off. I probably got to take this off too. So now I'm just going to flip it over on the blower side, on the motor side. Just give it a quick little tug. Of course, it ain't gonna be easy. All right, so Tyler's a genius. This is stuck on there, even though it doesn't look like it. So grab some big channel locks, hold the motor, and spin with your hand to loosen it up. And after it's loosened up, you should be able to just pop it right off.
Easy does it.
Tyler's a genius. Alright, so it's just a couple screws that hold the wheel in. So let's pop these two screws out real quick. These are going to be a little bit longer screws than all the rest of them. So you got one on that side and one on this side. So that allows that to come out. So it'll allow your wheel to come out. Like so. The new one they sold me, I don't know if you could tell, it's a little bit skinnier. I'm not too worried about that. You see the center divider, center wheel in the middle. These are all attached very well. You see the one on this side, it's not attached very well at all anymore. So old one, new one, new one's new. You just gotta make sure you drop it in the correct way. So we put that in, we put this lid back on. This lid just slides into place up here and screws those two longer screws in to hold it. Gotta line it up. Lighting down here is horrible. So now just tighten those two screws up. Alright, those two screws are in. Next step is flip it on its side and drop the blower motor back down through the hole. So it's going to be like this.
Yep.
So that'll sit like that. Alright, so get it the way it's supposed to be. Put the screws in to hold it. One. That blower going through that. Two and three screws. Where's my... I took it off to use it as a hammer. Oh, I was looking for that. It's not lined up right. There we go. So blower motor is now on. Flip this up. Now you got to center the wheel.
You guys can see what he's getting at. The wheel's off to the right a little bit there. You're trying to just get it towards the middle, or else it's going to scrape like you can hear.
So you see I got it just about as centered as it'll get.
That looks pretty good.
Tighten the set screw back. Set screw is what's holding it in place. I'm going to swap this and make it a little tighter. So set screw is on the flat part of the rod for the motor. Alright, so I'm going to put this back on. Has a clip, goes in and then up. Put this through. It'll hold it. You got a ground wire. Put the screw through the ground wire. Easier said than done. Put the ground wire in. Screw it back on. No clue what that beep is. Alright, so ground wire back on, everything's back in. This goes back in on 2 tracks on the top. So you just have to figure out where the tracks are, line it up, and slide it back in. So let's get all this out of the way. Just a little bit. Find your tracks. I'm definitely not in the track yet. This tends to be a little tricky with no lights.
And most of our job is just done by feel.
Alright, so I'm in. It's got to go back as far as possible. So that's all the way in. You got 2 screws, 5/16. Hold the blower back up. This is the hard part, no lights.
It's going to be hard to kind of show you guys. I'll give it my back.
Can't find the hole.
That's what she said.
This guy. Alright, I'm gonna need some light. Give me this. Let's give y'all first-hand look here so I get some light. So you can see right there. Can you hold that? Right there, Ty? There we go. All right. All right. So you got one on each side. I'm gonna put this over. That one went right in. Alright. 2 screws in there stable. Not going anywhere. So the next step is to put this back in and hook up all the hoses that go to it. So that hose is on. That hose is on. Where's them? There. Make it easier on myself. All three hoses are on. Slide this pipe back through. Hook it in. Make sure it's draining into the tube. We're going to put this back up like so. Two screws. 1/4-inch screws too, so they're small. One here. And then one back here. Trying to find this one's gonna be a pain in the butt. Can you shine that light in here so I can see what I'm doing? There we go. Alright. So it's all back together. Hopefully it works. Alright. So now this collar goes above the metal. Put the wires through and then put the collar down into the metal. The collar protects all of your wires, and we should be 100% good to go. So let's put the cover back on. Two screws. These are 5/16 screws, so you gotta switch tips.
You're getting a call.
Alright, so that is everything. So now all we gotta do, see if it works.
Turn it on.
It is on. I don't know if you can hear it. It's not as loud as last time, but it's definitely on. It's definitely running. You know, no longer have the noise coming from this thing as it's falling apart. We're good to go. Just got to put the cover on and we're all set.